Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited. Blue Origin blast off for the first time. The Big Bopper accident investigation is not reopened. And iPad users can now upgrade to ForeFlight version 7. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm Ashley Hale. Since Airborne's beginning in 2011 and through several hundred Aero-TV episodes before that, it's been my pleasure and privilege to be your primary guide to important, sometimes critical, news and information about the aviation and aerospace world. We've journeyed through the best and worst of the aero world, you and I, and while the trip has been amazing, it's time to pass command of this program to Brianne Cross, who will continue this extraordinary journey with you all. Fly safe, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for everything. I'm very excited to be part of the team. I'm Brianne Cross, and this is Aero-News Network's Airborne Unlimited daily news program. And speaking of news, let's get right to it. On the Blue Origin website, you'll find the following statement. Quote, sitting atop a 60-foot tall rocket in a capsule designed for 6 people, you'll feel the engine ignite and rumble under you as you climb through the atmosphere, and you will count yourself as one of the few who have crossed into space, unquote. Well, Blue Origin's Jeff Bezos brought this statement closer to reality with the successful first developmental test flight of his New-Shepard space vehicle yesterday. It's reported the 110,000-pound thrust liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen BE-3 engine worked flawlessly, powering New-Shepard through Mach 3 to its planned test altitude of 307,000 feet. The in-space separation of the crew capsule from the propulsion module was perfect. Any astronaut on board would have had a very nice journey into space and a smooth return, according to Bezos. The only hiccup in the flight was the failure to recover the propulsion module because of a hydraulic system failure on descent. Bezos also said on the website, quote, assembly of propulsion module serial numbers 2 and 3 is already underway. We'll be ready to fly again soon, unquote. The NTSB will not go back and review information related to an accident which occurred on February 3, 1959, that has been called, quote, the day the music died, unquote. A New England man, L.J. Coon, had requested that the NTSB reopen its docket on the accident that fatally injured Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson. Pilot Roger Peterson also died in the accident. It is reported that Coon cited indications that the weight and balance calculations for the flight were incorrect, and other issues such as the removal of passenger-side rudder pedals on the Beechcraft Bonanza were not considered in the investigation. The NTSB responded in part to Mr. Coon by saying, quote, you also offer your theories regarding the rudder pedal, magneto switches, and gauge readings on the accident aircraft. However, you do not provide new factual information to support those theories, end quote. After the break, ForeFlight users get an upgrade.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero. Welcome
back. If you have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, our website, or podcast, just email to news-spy@aero-news.net. The makers of ForeFlight have released version 7 of their flight planning software. saying this latest release offers a more advanced procedure advisor and a dramatically improved navigation database that enables visual preview of SIDS, stars, approaches, and pattern entries. Additionally, downloads are significantly faster by 70 to 90% and use less disk space. Chart Touch technology lets users see the margin information for sectional and IFR en route charts. Cabin Altitude Advisor uses pressure sensors to alert you when things don't seem quite right. Support for Apple Watch gives at-glance weather, flight instruments, and timers. And the new web-based flight planning system delivers web-to-panel flight planning. ForeFlight Flight Planning is also coming soon to your web browser. This will enable a full-screen desktop experience, automatically syncs to ForeFlight Mobile, and offers seamless web-to-panel capabilities via ForeFlight Connect. We have just touched the surface of what version 7 can do. Check with ForeFlight for details. It's Friday, and that means that it is time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly Barnstorming commentary. Despite the sins of distant past, ANN's Jim Campbell returned to Lakeland and had a pretty good time. But more important, he got a fair amount of work done. Mind you, there were a few rough edges, but all in all, the event shows some renewed promise. Here's today's Barnstorming.
Thanks, Bree, and hi, folks. Well, as you can see, some changes are afoot. And in the long run, we've got a lot more where that came from. But let's talk about some immediate issues, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the changes coming up. First of all, we just did Lakeland. Not only did Lakeland, we had a good time. It's obvious that the new crew at Lakeland is trying hard. There is a new generation. Not all of them are big fans of the last generation, but then again, neither were we, so we have kindred spirits there. There's a tremendous amount of effort being made to try to craft Sun and Fun into something that can last. It's not had its best years, and they're struggling getting attention like everybody in the aviation business is. But by and large, yeah, thumbs up. They're trying hard. They're headed in the right direction. There's some stuff I wasn't thrilled with, some stuff I was thrilled with. But by and large, good try, and that's a good thing. Because let's face it, we need these events. We need these events to be successful. And for the events that don't make it in the long run, that hurts us all in aviation. So it's in everybody's best interest that these events find a way to not only succeed, but prosper. And we hope this one does. A couple things we noted out of there. First of all, one thing that drove me nuts, and it has nothing to do with Lakeland because I've seen this in a number of other places. For some reason or another, the guys who are on this deplorable, awful, god-awful, messy, ridiculous, anti-aviation airplane repo show showed up and played hero. They were being featured in a couple places and interviewed, and they were running around like they were big shots. Folks, if you watch this program, a lot of it's just complete and utter false. They set things up as this is happening right now, and it's not. I've seen things that are just blatantly dangerous. There's some things I really wonder if the FAA watches this stuff and just shakes its head and wonder. But in the long run, let's face it, it doesn't do us any good. And promoting these people as something positive or heroic or famous in the aviation industry does us all a horrendous disservice. Airplane repo just plain blows. I totally hate this program. I think it hurts us all. I think it makes us look like morons and idiots and danger seekers and people who don't respect the law, if not physics itself. Don't understand it. Outside of that, good shows, 2 jet teams, neat stuff, and that's a good thing. More of the same, we'd love to see it. Yay, thumbs up. One last issue here, obviously, big changes here at Aero-News. Bree Cross has just taken over for Ashley. Bree is a lovely girl. We spent some time with her at Sun and Fun. She got a kick out of everything, had a chance to fly with one of the military formation groups, and just seemed to have a ball. Went out shooting everything in sight. She's going to have an interesting time learning this business. But at the same time, well, it's time to say goodbye to Ashley. Ashley's been with us for a number of years. She's done a spectacular job. She made Airborne her own. You have no idea how much heart and soul that girl put into this program. She has my specific personal gratitude. I hope she has aviation's gratitude. I hope she has you, the viewers and readers of ANN, gratitude. But in the long run, it was just one more example of how a very motivated young lady with a truly professional attitude went out, did something that was very strange and unknown to her. Heck, her first week on the job was Oshkosh a number of years ago. Talk about drinking from the fire hose. But she went out, did a spectacular job, made it her own, and frankly impressed us all to blazes. Ashley's out in the process of making a new world and a new life for herself, and has some really exciting things on her front burner, and we look forward to seeing and being fans of what Ashley does next. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell, and one of the reasons you see me here is because of the outstanding work of Ashley Hale.
After these messages, a new deputy administrator is confirmed for NASA.
AML's patent-pending wireless induction charging system eliminates confusion over those charging cables, cuts down cockpit cable clutter, and allows you and your passengers to fly cordless and eliminate the cable nightmare. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, NavCom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. The U.S. Senate has confirmed Dr. David Newman as the new NASA Deputy Administrator. The strong bipartisan support is a reflection of her well-earned reputation and renown as a global leader in science and technology research and policy. The House Science, Space, and Technology Committee reaffirms Congress's commitment to NASA and restores much-needed balance to the nation's only agency responsible for space exploration. They say Mars should be NASA's primary goal. A French UAV hobbyist has recreated the spaceships from the Star Wars sagas as UAVs. He has built shells that resemble the Millennium Falcon, a TIE Interceptor, and an Imperial Star Destroyer that fits over the chassis of a Prophecy 335 UAV. NASA will test non-stick wing coating designed to minimize insect residue and help reduce aircraft fuel consumption during flights in Shreveport, Louisiana. Various coatings will be applied to the leading edge of Boeing 757's right wing for evaluation. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. If you had ever had the dream of owning a truly unique warbird, now is the time to break open your piggy bank. In 1980, the remains of a Spitfire that had been shot down on May 24, 1940, during the evacuation of the British Army at Dunkirk, emerged from the sands on Calais Beach. The airplane, a Vickers submarine Spitfire Mark 1A, has since been restored to flying condition and is part of the personal collection of American entrepreneur and art collector Thomas Kaplan. Kaplan has now donated this Spitfire for a charity auction to benefit the RAF Benevolent Fund and Panthera, which is a wildlife conservation charity. It will be auctioned by Christie's on July 9th and is expecting to bring between $2.3 million and $3.8 million. The sale will coincide with the 75th anniversary of the Battle of France and the Battle of Britain. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily, Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us in a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news. Have a wonderful weekend. From the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.